We often believe that our peace is stolen by the world around us. We blame the traffic, a difficult boss, or a rude comment from a stranger for the storm inside our hearts. But the bitter truth is that no one can make you angry without your hidden permission. Your mind is like a vessel, and the size of that vessel determines how much bitterness you can handle. If your heart is small, every little problem feels like a poison. If your heart is large, the world's troubles can barely be felt. Years ago, in a village built on a high cliff overlooking the vast blue sea, lived a young man named Devan. Devan was a man of great skill, but he was also a man of great fire. His temper was like dry grass in a summer heat wave. Even a tiny spark of criticism could set him into a rage. When a neighbor spoke a harsh word, Devan would lose his sleep. When a small mistake happened at his work, he would shout at the sky. His heart was always heavy with the salt of resentment. Devan felt as if he were losing a war against himself. This constant anger was not just a bad mood. It was an experiment in pain that was destroying his health. Every time he yelled, his head would throb and his breath would become shallow and sharp. He wanted to be free, but he did not know how to stop the boiling water inside him. He felt small and trapped in a cycle where every little problem felt like a giant wave crashing over his head. The psychological weight of his anger made him feel tired before the day had even begun. One morning, Devan sought out an old teacher who lived in a small hut right where the waves met the sand. The old man was known for a calm that nothing could shake. Devan asked him, "Why does the world fill me with such bitterness? How can I find peace when people are so difficult?" The old man did not answer with words at first. Instead, he handed Devan a small glass of fresh water and a large cup of salt. "Put a handful of salt into the glass, stir it, and take a sip," the old man commanded. Devan did as he was told. He spat the water out immediately. "It is disgusting and bitter," he cried. The old man smiled and then led Devan to the edge of the great ocean. "Now," the old man said, "throw the rest of the salt into the sea." Devan tossed the salt into the crashing waves. After a moment, the old man told him, "Now, taste the water from the sea." Devan dipped his hand into the water and tasted it. "Does it taste of salt?" the old man asked. Devan shook his head. "No, it tastes like the vast, fresh ocean." The old man sat on a rock and spoke softly. He explained that the salt represents the pain, the insults, and the small troubles of life. The amount of salt in the world stays the same, but the amount of bitterness you taste depends on the container you put it in. If you have a small mind, like a tiny glass, even a little bit of trouble makes you bitter. But if you expand your heart and your mind to be like the ocean, you can absorb any amount of salt without losing your sweetness. Science shows us that our brains react to stress by tightening, but nature shows us that space is the cure. By widening your perspective, you dilute your pain. Devan realized that his anger was not caused by the salt, but by the smallness of his own glass. He began to practice a new way of living. Whenever he felt the heat of anger rising, he would stop. He would use a simple secret to expand his mind in that very moment. He would breathe in for 4 seconds, hold his breath for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and wait for 4 seconds. This box of breath created the inner space he needed. In our modern world of 2026, where a single notification on your phone can spark a flame of stress, this simple practice is your shield. When a digital comment or a busy day tries to throw salt into your life, you must pause and breathe. This technique calms your nervous system and reminds you that you are larger than your problems. We live in a fast world where everyone is shouting. The internet is full of salt, and society often tries to make our hearts feel small and restricted. But remember, the trolls and the critics are just tiny grains of salt. They only have the power to ruin your day if you remain a small glass. You have the power to be the vast sea. Your peace is not a gift from others. It is a responsibility you carry for yourself. When you feel the world pushing against you, do not fight the salt. Instead, grow your soul until you are large enough to let the bitterness vanish into your greatness. Walk through life with a heart as wide as the horizon, for a quiet mind is the greatest power a human can possess. Your peace is your responsibility.